Dumelang Batho Babantle, Hope Makola here. Thank you so much for joining me again on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and put on your notification bell. Comments down below. I'd really like for you to like my videos as well. Let's get right into it today. 10 things that I learned from being a widow with nothing. Okay, the first one is it's okay to grieve. It's okay to let the grieving process last for as long as you need it to last. Like I said in my previous video, it never really goes away. You learn to cope and live alongside the grief. So I would basically describe this grief as a round ball, and it doesn't expand, it doesn't compress, it just stays the same size, whichever size you'd want this ball of grief to be. And what you then do after you've lost a loved one, you then carry on with life, because that's what we're called to do. And your loved one would really obviously want you to do the same, and it becomes a box. It's a box now around this round circle of grief. And this box is filled with your future endeavors. You either move on to remarry, you either get a new job, you could either even have to relocate, you would either have to sell whatever you have, you could either have to upscale or downscale, whichever way it looks like. So it becomes this box, and this box continues to grow and grow around your grief. That way your grief then starts becoming something you are able to manage and cope with and live alongside it. Basically, that's how I could describe the process of grieving and how you would move to the next stage of moving on with your life. The second one is definitely find your why. Find why you need to wake up in the morning. If it's not something that you can see to do immediately, it's okay. But my why was knowing that I have my little baby growing inside of my tummy. I remember my gynae saying that this pregnancy you'll either lose the baby, or this pregnancy will make you stronger after such a tragedy. And the pregnancy actually made me so much stronger. I actually was able to do and cope with more than I believe I would have been able to cope with if I wasn't pregnant. So find your why, find your reason to wake up in the morning. The third one would be read the policies. Any insurance policies, life covers, medical aid, short-term, long-term insurance, retirement annuities, life cover, funeral covers. Guys, anything under your life policy, familiarize yourself with it. I would go as far as get a Saturday, go out with your whole family. If you have children, do that. Sit your family down and say, guys, this is what I have. These are the policies that I have under my name. These are the beneficiaries that I have under those policies. Let this be something that is even known to your extended families. As Makoti, things can go down. When Makoti means, daughter-in-law, things can go down once you've lost your husband. People come knocking at the door, making certain requests and saying that, no, but this, he left for me, this, no. At least you know that you would have done your due diligence with your spouse when they were still around as to what you are covered for. Familiarize yourself with what I call the T's and C's. The fourth one, on the back of that, get a will. A will is important. A will is the single thing that you still have that is your voice when you are in the grave. So, Galoko Batu, can I make it any more clearer? Get a will. It's important. It's not hard to get a will. You can go to your bank. If you've got anybody who's got a bank account, you can have a will. You can have a will with your lawyers. I prefer a will with the lawyers because with what I know now, my lawyers would be the ones that would also be handling my estate should anything happen to me. So that is the best place to get started. The fifth one, get married out of community of property, guys, with accrual. This thing of in 2022, people are still married in community of property, that must stop. And I know that you guys are already familiarized with what in community of property is and out of community of property is. Customary marriage is what we have in South Africa, and that falls under in community of property. The worst, guys, it's the pits. It's the worst kind of marital contract you can ever get yourself into. Basically, in community of property means that whatever I come in with, my assets, my debts, my negatives and my positives, they become your negative and positive. Whatever he comes in with as his negative and positives and his debts, whatever, become yours as well. And that said, it's never worked out great for anybody. I had to go through till today. I ended up finishing off paying a judgment that we had in community of property for one of the properties that got repoed. You'd remember in my last video, I spoke about the properties that were repossessed. I only finished paying that other judgment. There were two judgments. There was two properties. I only finished paying that off in 3 years ago. It took me 10 years to pay back in the amount of about 250 odd K. So you don't want to be left with things like that. You don't want to be left in a situation where you are picking up the pieces. Even your loved one wouldn't want that for you. Anybody who loves you enough will rather want you to not get married in community of property. The sixth one, I would say, it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. Ask for help when you need dinner and meals done. It's okay to say, guys, I don't have the strength to even feed myself or even bathe myself, for that matter of fact. Whatever it takes, ask for help. Yes, when days are dark, friends are few. We all know that saying. However, that one or two friend that will still be there will be willing to help you. For me, it was definitely my family. I had to downscale, guys. I had to move back home. At some point, I was living with my in-laws at that time. So I could have never been where I am today if the family around me didn't just fall in line and support me unconditionally. Whatever I needed, I received from my family. I love them to bits till today. I thank the Lord for them every single day. And for that, I will eternally be grateful to my family. Seek professional grief counseling. That's number 7. It's important. Get a professional, guys. Get a professional to at least make sense of the feelings that you are feeling. If you don't believe in counseling in that way, then you can get a spiritual guidance from your pastor, anybody at church, an elderly lady or an elderly gentleman that you know, an uncle, an aunt of the family, somebody you can talk to in times when everything is just so bleak. That would be the best thing to do for yourself. Number 8, go back to assessing your life. Go back to assessing, to do the things that you love doing. Go back to writing down your goals again, writing down what you're passionate about, writing down where you see yourself. And it's okay to also reflect on what has happened. But find your purpose again through assessing your goals and revisiting the hobbies that you love doing. For me, mine was hiking, just being in nature and walking endlessly would just silence all the noise and all the sadness. So, the ninth one, Sekgowa, get physically active again. Sign up with the gym, walk, run. Again, for me, it was hiking. Find what your active soft spot is and do that. Because when you get active, something happens. Dopamine is released. Certain emotions and stresses melts away. Positive vibes flow in, negative vibes flow out. So get active as much as you can, as much as possible as you can. Make it your routine. The last one, this one is my favorite. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. It's okay. It's okay to say that I didn't kiss my husband goodbye that morning because we were either arguing the night before. Forgive yourself. Say it's okay. I forgive him or her. I forgive the fact that I had to remain picking up the pieces on my own and paying off debt that wasn't mine. Just forgive yourself. Allow yourself grace. Forgive yourself. Allow yourself the opportunity to fall forward. Allow yourself the opportunity to fail forward. You know, all those cliched sayings that we know, whatever it is that you need to do it continuously. Keep on going forward with it. And yeah, that's my 10 pieces of advice of what I learned when I was a widow with nothing. And I hope that they can be of any small help, inspiration to just get you out of that position after you've lost a loved one. I love you all dearly, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers and God bless.